Hello everyone, welcome back to the Enterprise Java series. In this session, we will see the basic servlet request and servlet response and how to handle this servlet request and servlet response. Do remember, servlet request is an interface. Servlet request, it is an interface, and servlet response is also an interface, and both of these interface are available in Java x.servlet package. This is a package, right, which contains the servlet request and servlet response. These two interfaces are used in servlet for handling the servlet request and the servlet response. When the client sends the request to the server, that request is encapsulated in servlet request interface. Whatever the request sent by the client to the server, that request is encapsulated in servlet request interface. When the server processes the request and generates the output, the server will send the response back to the client. So that response is encapsulated in servlet response interface. So these are the two interfaces that are used to handle the servlet request and response. Now we will see how do we use these two interfaces, servlet request and the servlet response. So now to understand this servlet request and servlet response, we first of all create files in NetBeans. In this, we will create two files. First file is used for creating a client, and the second one is used for the server. So now the client file is nothing but your .html file, and this file is created in web pages folder. And the server file is nothing but your .java file. That means servlet. We will create a servlet file, and this file is saved in source packages. So in servlet, to handle the request and response, we will create a two file. First is your .html file and second is your .java file. The HTML file is created in web pages and the .java file is created in source package. Now let us see how do we create these files in NetBeans. So now first of all we will create a web pages .html file in web pages. So right click on the web page, new, just search here the HTML page. If this option is not available here, go to the other. In web, now we will search the HTML file. This is my HTML file. Now I will give the name to the HTML file, that is my client input file. This is my HTML file, client input file, and finish. As we can see, this is the pure HTML file. All the HTML tags are there: HTML, head, body. These are the basic tags, and this is your comment. Just move this comment, and this head tag is an optional tag. If you want to use, you can use. Right? You can give the title to this. This is my first servlet request and response. This is a practical demonstration of servlet request and response, and this meta tag will be deleted. Okay. Now, in the body tag, we will first design our HTML page. In this, we will first take an input of the name. So now we will print a message or a label. Enter the name. Now, to take the input from the user in HTML, we have a tag input type equals to text and name equals to, we can give any name, txt, yeah, just write t1. This is my name, and we will just close the input tag. Then we will write a br, that means it will move, the cursor will move to the next line. Now we will create a button, input type equals to submit, and again we will give a value, that is a caption on the button, that is your submit. This is my button. Now we will first execute this code and see the output of this HTML code. Right click, run file. Okay. It will start the execution of the EJ web application. Just wait for some time. It will again start the Glassfish server. After starting the Glassfish server, it will launch the web browser, and finally it will display the output. Just wait for some. As we can see here, this is the output of the HTML program. Right? Enter the name. Here we will type the name, and on the clicking of the submit button, this request is sent to the Servlet file. Now we will write a code that will connect this HTML page with the Servlet page. So to connect the this HTML page with the Servlet page, we have a form tag. In form, we will specify two attributes. First is your method equals to post, and action. On this action attribute, we will write a file, Servlet file name, that will receive this information. Now I am giving a name as get name Servlet. This is my file name. Now this form tag will be closed at the end, before the body. So now understand this form tag first. Method equal to post, that means whatever the information is sent by the client to the server, it is hidden from the others. It will send in the background. The information is not visible on the URL of the web browser. Action, this is the name of the file which receives the information sent by this file to the servlet. Now we will create this servlet, get name servlet in source package, that is the source package servlet package. Right click, new servlet file, then just paste this name, get name servlet. Next, add information in the finish. Now in this, we will retrieve the information sent by the client. So first we will write package, that is my package name, servlet package. Now we will import three packages, java.io, java x.servlet star, and then import java x.servlet.http.star. This third package is an optional, right? You can import, or if you don't want to import, you will not import this package. Now we will create a class, that is your get name servlet, and which extends generic servlet. In generic servlet, we have a method service which handles servlet request req, servlet response res, and this method throws two exception, that is your servlet exception comma IO exception. So this is an abstract method in generic servlet, so we have to override this method. Now again we will set the content type so that we can start writing on the web page. The content type of the web page is your text/html. Now to write anything, we have a print writer object out equals to res.getWriter. This is the syntax to initialize the writer object, and at the end we will close the writer object. Now first of all, we will get the information sent by this client to this servlet. So the information is sent by the client is stored. The name of the person is stored in T1. So first of all, we will extract the information. So we will create a variable, and whatever the information sent by the client to the server is stored in servlet request interface. Therefore, we will use the request object, and there is a method of request object get parameter, and I will type the name of the parameter, that is your T1. So whatever the name sent by the client to the server, right, it stored in the variable n. Now we will send the response back to the client using a out.println, and we will type as your name is and plus n. That means it will display the output as your name is, right, and the name that is sent by the client, right, to the server will be displayed after your name is. So this is the basic code, right, which demonstrates the basic use of servlet request and the servlet response interface, and how do we handle the request and the response in the servlet. Now we will execute this code. Since these two files are connected, therefore we will first execute this HTML code. Just right click on this file, run file. Now I am typing the name, Shahid, and on the clicking of this button, this information is right now we are on client input file.html. That means we are in the client side. On the submission, right, we can see here the request is sent to the servlet, get name servlet, and your name is Shahid is written by the servlet. Now I am changing the name again. And again click. So this is the basic code, right, which shows how the servlet request and servlet response interface works, and how do we handle the request and response in servlet. I hope you understood this session. Thank you.